Hi, this is Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems Incorporated in Myrtle Beach, and today we are at Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church in Marion. And the purpose of this video is not for any great audio knowledge, but basically to give the church a reference point, excuse me, understanding that the people who volunteer here at the church are volunteers and work during the week. So I'm going to give them a general overview about how the audio mixer is set up. This is a project that we did, new speakers, LED monitors, worship software, live streaming, a couple of cameras, did pretty much a full project in here, including some theatrical lighting for the stage. But the purpose of this video is just to concentrate on the audio mixer so I can help the church volunteer members how to get around on the console. There's going to be no earth-shattering audio information established here, but like I said, we're going to give an overview of a rundown. We ended up putting in the Midas M32 because of its ease of operation, and it functions well for the church. I've turned the console on and the sound system is on. I have my phone playing some background music that I can use as a reference. Very simple setup here. Multiple inputs coming from the stage. They do have a full band, piano, drums, organ, choir, bass guitar, B3, bunch of wireless microphones and such, lectern microphones, pulpit microphones. And those inputs obviously come into the console here, and then they direct out to a live stream over to my right, front of house speakers, and then a couple of monitor mixes. We wired for 4 monitor mixes. We're currently only using 2 monitor mixes. So this is going to be short and sweet. The very first thing I'm going to do, I just turned the console on. The very first thing I'm going to do is save the settings that they currently have, meaning that they can recall any changes that accidentally get made while I'm here doing instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is save what they have. And I'm going to do that by coming over here to the show control. And if I hit this little button that says view, my LED screen now turns into a scroll over one place and it says scenes, and currently it's at preset number 00, which says setup, and I'm just going to save what they have here. So I'm going to says save to scene 00. I'm going to select that. I'm going to keep the name. I'm not here to change anything. I'm going to hit save, and then it says, do you want to overwrite that 00? Hit confirm, which is the right button, and I'm hitting that, and now we are saved inside. Small secret that we do in our company is I come down here, there we are, and I always make a backup copy somewhere down the scene. I'm going to also save this setting to my SSI, Sound Systems Incorporated backup setting. Save, confirm, and even because I'm even more weird, I go all the way down here to the very bottom on preset number 99, and yes, we hide it down there and we save it also. So I hit save, and save. Now, anything I do to the console, purposely or accidental, we can go back to the setting that they had for church yesterday. All right, I'm going to hit the home button up here on the console, and it takes me right back to where I started. Basically, this is a 32-channel mixer, and I have 16 fader inputs coming into the console. Then I have another 16 coming into the console, and then I have what they call auxiliary inputs. And those can be accessed by buttons over here. If I look at this button, it says input 1 through 16, and if I push this button, these channels now become 1 through 8, 9 through 16. If I push this button here, they now become 17 through 32. So the only quick way to get in trouble is if I think I'm on this channel here, but I'm on this page. So just remember 1 through 16, 17 through 32, and we also have some other inputs that have USB, phone, stuff like that, but we purposely didn't put anything in here. We set up this console to be very, very easy to operate. We didn't start getting into DCAs, subgroups, matrices. mute groups, anything like that. We wanted the church personnel to come in and feel comfortable to operate the church. Basically, mute, unmute a channel, fader, increase, decrease, and change some tone control if they'd like. 1 through 16 channels, 17 through 32, which are numerous as far as drums, kick drum, toms, rack, choir microphones, phone input from keyboards, headsets, a bunch of wirelesses. I'm using a phone. I've got my phone hooked up and just some background music playing that I could use as a reference, which is obviously labeled phone. So this is the input section. 1 through 32 inputs here. Then this section becomes our outputs, meaning that we can send sound coming in to this area of the console. We can redirect it back to this output and send it to different configurations. Mostly monitor mixes. We have wired the stage so they can have 4 independent monitor mixes. A mix meaning I can hear specific items out of a floor monitor or floor wedge that's facing me. And I've also using this output number 8 here that sends over to the live stream, meaning that I can send whatever signals or whatever levels or whatever instruments or vocals over to the live stream. For example, we use a couple live congregation microphones so that when we're listening to the live stream, you can get a nice, good live feel for the church service on top of the direct microphones. Currently, we're just using 2 monitor mixes. And let's talk about how to access that. There's a group of buttons here in the middle. This one says Group DCA 1 through 8. DCAs we did not set up. We did that on purpose. We had let the church grow into it. A DCA basically gives you a master volume for a variety of faders on this side. So for example, if I had all of my drums, this is all of my drums, channels 1 through 7, and I wanted to control those separately, I could assign those drums over to one control. And then I would have one volume control for drums. I could take all of my vocals or my background vocals or lead vocals and I could assign them to an independent fader. We didn't do that because we didn't want everything to start getting confusing about what's on or what's not, because I can mute this and my drums won't work or vice versa. So we stayed away from what they call DCAs, digital controlled amplifiers. We do, however, use what they call buses. Bus is another word for an output of the console. And with our buses, we are using 3, 5 are down and not used. And if I look at the labels up here, they say pulpit monitor and then monitor 2. Like I said, we wired for 4 monitors, but we have currently live pulpit monitor and monitor 2. These become master volumes for those monitor mixes. I can send something from here to here out to the speaker system, and then I can have a level control here that creates volume or decrease volume for that particular mix or that monitor control. The biggest questions are, how do I control that stuff? That's usually the first thing. How can I send something to my monitor if somebody wants something on stage? We use a couple methods, but what I went through with the church was called, it's a device called Send Zone Fader, meaning that if I would like to control something to the pulpit monitor, knowing this is my master volume, first of all, I can mute it and it goes away. I can come up here to my solo if I'd like, and I can listen through headphones the mix they're getting through the monitor mix. Or I can come up here to the select button. If I hit select, and then if I push this button here that says fader flip, sends on fader, that means I'm going to control now what level and what microphone or what instrument goes to this particular mix, which is my pulpit mix. For example, right now we have going to the pulpit mix, organ, looks like a little bit of piano and a little bit of keys, and a whole lot of the pulpit mic. And if I go to my second page, going to the pulpit mix, we have headset, lapel, handheld, and that's really about it. Now, what I can do is I can use my phone, if my music's still playing, and it's probably off. It is, it's off. I'm gonna unmute it, go back to my pulpit mix, flip and fader. Now my phone, hard to hear, but I've got my phone going up through a monitor mix. They also have in-ear stations, so they can control everything through in-ear stations. We're trying to keep the stage volume down. Pretty much impossible, but we're keeping the stage volume down. And when the music starts playing again, you'll hear music coming through the pulpit mix. And that's, right now I'm sending the phone audio into the pulpit mix. I'm not going to leave it in there. I'm going to turn it back down, but that just shows how I can independently select what goes to that mix. In that same vein, I can come over here and to my monitor mix 2, which is a live mix over by the band area. I can hit select. I can hit sends on fader, and now anything I turn up or down on any page sends sound only to that monitor mix number 2. That's only happening if this button is flashing telling me that I have flip fader or sends on fader. In that same situation, let's say I come and I listen to my live stream and I can hear a lot of one instrument but not a lot of the other, or I can't hear the choir as well as I can hear the instrumentation. Well, I know that this is the master volume going out to my live stream over here. So I can either, obviously if I muted it, I would have no sound going to the live stream. But if I come over here and if I hit select, labeled live stream, I can come to my flip fader, sends on fader, and now any adjustments I make in level or fader controls affects the live stream, which goes out to my computer live stream setup over to my right. Meaning that if I'm on page 2 here, and here's handheld number 4, which is turned down quite a bit, I'm not going to change it. But for example, if I listen to my live stream and I had handheld 2, 3 is down and 4 is way down, if I had a bad imbalance on my live stream, then I could bring 4 up without affecting anything in the house system or affecting anything in the monitor mix. So it's nice to have that feature to independently adjust things that go over here. And I find it best when I have a live microphone, for example. You can see there, or you can't see it, but channel 32 says room microphone. We have room mics, and then I can bring that up or down, and that helps me get congregation singing, crowd response, prayer requests, just general church noise. I can increase or decrease that. But I don't want that in my live front of house sound, because I'll get potential troubles and phasing and potentially a lot of feedback. But I'd like to have this microphone at least feeding the live stream so that it has a more of a real feel to it. So that's really the biggest question that people ask. How do I control things that go to the stage monitors? Now, one thing I do have to remember, I have to turn that back off, and now I'm back to my normal mixing position. Now, speaking of the normal mixing position, let's go to, I'm on pages 1 through 16. Let's go to 17 through 32 and go back to my phone that I was using. Now that music is playing through the house system, and I can do a couple things. First of all, I can mute it. It goes away, of course. I can solo it, and I can listen to headphones from a headphone input to the side. If I was hearing something funky or I didn't know anybody had their microphone on, I could cue up or solo it up, and then I could hear what was happening in there. Let's say I'd like to make a change on that. I'd like to maybe change the equalization, or I'd like to change or any type of tone control I'd like to do. I'm going to bring that back a little bit so I can talk over it. I hit the select button. So any adjustments I need to make anywhere, I have to hit the select button on top of the channel that I would like to make the adjustment for. I'm going to use this as an example as my phone music. So now when I hit select, all of the current settings and all of my display are telling me only what's happening with this particular channel, which is right now channel number 31, which is my phone. I have tone control, highs, mids, lows. I have types of equalization. I have dynamics as far as compression, gate, phantom power, gain control. And if I'd like to see my tone control on here, I can just hit view, and it will show me what my tone control is. Plus, very helpful, I have a little real-time RTA real-time analyzer here. So if I would starting to get some feedback trouble, if I activated that, then it would tell me what frequency was giving me the trouble, and I could use these guys to move around to find where the feedback trouble potentially could be at, and I could either adjust it accordingly. Now, I also have to make sure that all of these settings have a lit button here that says main stereo, meaning I'm sending that channel to my master volume control, which is over here. So just to recap, any channel that I select, the screen can give me the display for that one particular channel. Once I select it, I can change the tone control. I can send it to monitor mixes if I like it. This is another way to do that. Or I can send it to my main output, or I can control any type of dynamics as far as gain control. I'm sorry, not dynamics, but gain control, dynamics as far as gates or compressors. What a compressor does, it kind of acts like a governor on an engine. It doesn't matter how it does, but you can get to a certain point with level and the compressor kicks in, so it holds. It's kind of like a governor. It's like, think about a golf cart. If you're pressing the gas pedal on a golf cart, you can press it as hard as you want to, but it's only going to go a certain speed. So what a compressor does is it holds everything level. Works very well in particular Pentecostal style churches or real pretty active worship services. So the general overview of the mixer is this: channels 1 through 16, 17 through 32, and then some auxiliary inputs, meaning phones and adapters and RCA inputs and computer input. And then I've got a bus master, which we don't even go into with that. Then the other portion over here, I have DCAs, which I have not used or have not assigned. Mostly bus 1 through 8, which means my pulpit monitor, my monitor mix 2, my stream level, and of course my house level. Bus 9 through 16, this is for further expansion down the road. Again, I do have 5 stage stations, the P16 stations, and there are multiple items or multiple mixes going to those, so the players on stage can activate by using some type of a KZ headphones or something like that, and then they can control their own mix. That comes in very handy because they're not relying on the front of house guy to try to do a lot of things. They can just reach over and control their mix by themselves. So once we finish with our service and we have everything what we need and everything like we're going to do, I have to make sure I shut the console down in proper order. So what I want to do is I'll hit setup. There's home, meters, routing, and setup, the 4th button down. And then on our display screen, it says shut down. I come over here and I press go. Basically, this is a computer, so it's just like shutting your home computer off at the house. It's going to tell you now that you can safely turn this unit off. I have a sequencer switch underneath, and if I flip that switch, it turns off all the amplifiers, all the powered Maui LD stacks, and pretty much everything on stage. I'm not going to do that at this point. If you get to this point and you go, oh, I forgot to do something, then you can always press home, and it takes you right back to where you're going. Another quick note, let's say that I'm running in front of house and I need to run out, go to the restroom or something like that. I can come over here to the home button and push and hold that for about 3-5 seconds, and it locks the console. So if somebody comes in here and does something, and for whatever reason, I can come back, hold the home button for a few seconds. And if you notice, everything goes right back to where it was. A little bit of a protection device if I need to run out and go do something. So this is I'm going to show you how to save real quick. I think we already covered that in the beginning. I'm going to run through it one more time very quickly. Show control over here. If I hit view, yeah, we did cover this. I'm going to go over to scenes, and I'm going to dial up all the way to the setting that we should be on. It says setup, push save, and it's going to prompt you on the screen to hit confirm, and I hit confirm and we're back to save. I can turn that back off. Okay, that's pretty much a general overview of how the console works. Very simple, much more capability than we have it set up to do as far as effects, mute groups, all of these things. But again, our goal here is to keep it simple for the church, make sure they don't get in a panic mode, and that they can operate things very, very easily. Once they're comfortable with it, then we can ease them into mute groups and other things that would be nice for them to do. This is Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. 843-602-5883, my cell number. And we have been doing church installation, gosh, almost 45 years now. You can call us for any of your needs, and we'll do our best to take care of you.